Hey, this is Matt Blackburn and you're watching Divine Superconductor TV. And today I'm making a video on the Magnetico sleep pad. This was developed by Dr. Dean Bonley and they've been doing this for about 20 years. And what it is it's a pad that you put under your mattress. It's doing two things. It's supplementing the weakened Earth's magnetic field, and it's also negating your bad environment. For example, I have a power line about 5 or 6 feet above the ceiling here, and it's going right over. So that is going to wreck my sleep. This is a way to kind of biohack your environment, and what it does is it strengthens your field so that you can push off other fields. With electromagnetism and the information about magnetism in general, it's often looked down upon in health circles that aren't in the alternative world because it kind of looks like it's airy-fairy, hocus pocus. It's a money-making thing. Here, buy this pendant, put it on your phone, put it around your neck, buy this disc, get this gadget, and people end up thinking that it's just a selling thing. Well, it's actually not the case, and electromagnetic fields, non-native, meaning man-made EMFs, such as coming from the phone that I'm filming this on right now. An iPhone or a smartphone is a bidirectional microwave device. What does that mean? It means that it's emitting microwave frequencies all around it, and especially if you have cellular data turned on. 4G, and now they're about to come out with 5G. That is exponentially more EMF that you're exposing, whether it be your hand to, if you put it in your pocket, your reproductive organs. This is a real issue, and if anyone's still skeptical about it, number one, I don't really care. It's kind of like survival of the fittest at this point. If anyone is curious, look into the work of Robert O. Becker. He was an orthopedic surgeon back in the 60s. He was studying salamanders and limb regeneration. A lot of people don't know it's actually possible to regrow fingers, like if you cut off the tip of the finger. With electrical stimulation and magnetism, we can regrow. That's how a salamander does it. If you cut off their limb, it uses positive, negative electricity and magnetism for regeneration. Mammals do as well. And this guy in the 60s found that out. And it's not common knowledge now because electricity and magnetism it's not a drug trade. You can't keep milking people for money. This pad, it's a one-time thing. You buy it once, and every 50 years, it loses 6% of its power. That's a pretty good investment, and that's a lot cheaper than all of these cut, burn, poison, medical mafia therapies that you would do otherwise. Why would you sleep on a Magnetico sleep pad? Like I was talking about regeneration. The Earth's magnetic field has weakened 80 to 90% in the last 4,000 years. Why is that? It's because the Earth's crust is actually cooling. And as the Earth's crust cools, the lava redirects the Earth's magnetic field back in. So from the core of the Earth, from the lava, the magnetic field of the Earth comes out, but as the Earth's crust is cooling, the lava congeals, and so the Earth's magnetic field is being pushed more in instead of coming out. And NASA's been observing this for decades. I think it was around the 60s as well. This is why there is global warming. This is why there is the holes in the ozone layer. And Dr. Dean Bonley has said that seals in the North Atlantic are actually getting sunburned now because the UV is so much stronger, because there's not that much protection anymore. From the Earth's magnetic field used to protect us from solar radiation, and when that's weaker, that means that the sun's magnetic field overtakes ours. And when that happens, it means that the UV rays, the purple light, we need less of it. It's stronger. We don't have as much of a protection against it. Or you could also take that to say that if your DHA stores are good, if your magnesium stores are good, if you have chlorophyll in your blood, if your skin's clean, if you can actually take these photons and absorb them and utilize them, then you will not burn. But people that are on a processed food diet, yeah, you go out in the sun, you're gonna cook. It's because all this garbage, all the micro poop and everything is just coating your skin. And so that's the sunburn. It's not that it's the sun that burns you, it's what you're eating that comes out of your skin. And when the sun hits that, there's a chemical reaction, and we call that a sunburn. But when your skin actually gets red from going in the sun, that is red blood cells coming to the surface to get light. Yeah, don't be dumb and stay out all day, but sun exposure is still smart, even though we don't have as much protection. So getting back to magnetism, in the Babylonian Empire times, the Earth's magnetic field was 3 gauss, and in some places it was even as high as 5 gauss. And right now, the Earth's magnetic field is less than half a gauss, 0.5 gauss. And just looking at this from an evolutionary standpoint, if we evolved in a stronger magnetic field, and now we're in an environment where the oxygen is lower, sometimes in the city it used to be over 30%, and now it's low teens. And the air pressure's less as well. When the dinosaurs roamed the Earth, the gauss was around 300. So that's why everything was bigger and everything just works better. This is the whole idea of sleeping on this Magnetico pad, is that it helps everything work better. This is my setup here. So I actually keep my water bottle on there, which is very smart. So think about with wine, where do they put it? They put it in the cellar. Why do they put it in the cellar? Because it's in the Earth's magnetic field. This is a way to kind of upgrade your water, and it's a way to use the Magnetico during the day. And these are essentially 2,000 magnets in each pad. You can see there's 2 there, and they're so close together that they end up acting as one giant magnet. And if I were to unzip these, you would actually see there's foam, and they have little cutouts where the magnets are placed. And here's the thing, you could make this yourself, and some gurus have actually made videos showing how to make a magnetic sleep pad. The problem with that is that, 1, you don't really know what you're doing, and 2, the main thing is when you do a plus minus and you switch polarity each time, that actually tires the body over time. And he actually said this in the video. He said sometimes you can't sleep on it, and you have to sleep on the other side of the bed, you have to take it off. That's because it's not good for you. So things that are good for us, we should be able to do every day, like tonic herbs, like goji berries, chaga. You can do those every single day. So if you can't do something every single day, that should say something. So these are all a certain polarity. So in the northern hemisphere, it's a certain polarity. In the southern hemisphere, it's a certain polarity. We're not designed to get positive, negative, back and forth all the time. So the Earth's surface in the northern hemisphere should be negative, and the Earth's surface in the southern hemisphere is going to be positive. And a way to check this is actually by taking one of these pads down to, let's say, South America, and sleeping on it just like I have it configured now. And they actually found people got tired from that, and they called up Dr. Dean Bonley. They're like, "What's up? I'm feeling sick." And he said, just flip the pad around. And they flipped it, and all their problems went away, and they actually got stronger and better. Naturally, if you're in the northern hemisphere here, I'm in San Diego, California, I should be getting a negative field. So that's when I get when I'm barefoot, when I'm on my grounding pad or whatever sheet. The Magnetico uses what's called the Lamar formula, and the Lamar formula says there's kind of like a cascade of effects. And when you increase the function of the sodium-potassium pump, that increases oxygen, that increases cell voltage potential up to over 100 millivolts, and that's the differential between positive and negative. So just like when lightning strikes the Earth, the different polarity is what creates that bolt of lightning. Same thing with a Duracell battery. One side's positive, one side's negative. If you just flip it like this, think of that as lightning. So when lightning strikes the Earth, it's that difference that makes the current. Same thing in our mitochondria, same thing in all of our cells. And that's very powerful because they've found that people with cancer, with these degenerative diseases, have low cell voltage. And this raises it over 100 millivolts. A healthy cell should be around 70. People with diseases, 30, 40 millivolts. My favorite part of this technology is two things. One, it increases the orbital velocity of valence electrons. And what does that mean? It means that we're made of atoms, and there are electrons spinning around all of our atoms, and they're spinning a certain direction. In the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere, it's a different spin. How do you know that? Flush the toilet and watch the way the water spins. It's a different vortex. It's the opposite. So same thing with our electrons. The northern hemisphere, they're spinning a certain way. This is kind of why we get jet lag. It's my theory, and I'm sure there's evidence for that. Turn on the light here. My second favorite thing about the Magnetico is that it increases the resiliency of the body, and this isn't just like maybe it does. This is like clinically proven it does. And how it does that is by speeding up those chemical reactions. It's speeding up the spin of the valence electrons. Every biochemical reaction in the body happens faster. So what does that mean? It means you heal faster. It means it's like plugging into a quick charger. You sleep deeper. And they've actually found that it increases the electrical output that your brain can make. And this has huge implications living in a, as Dr. Jack Kruse says, a blue-lit microwaved world. 99% of every electromagnetic field that's ever been created is still bouncing around because it can't leave the ionosphere. And that sucks because that means that we're in a microwave oven right now. And not only is it non-stop turned on, but the power of the microwave is going up. And especially as we become more technologically addicted, it gets even worse. So the summary is that it's only going to get worse, most likely. And by supplementing the Earth's magnetic field with this Magnetico, it increases the strength of my field, especially the field in my brain, so that any weaker field that tries to go in gets pushed off. Because my brain's creating a huge magnetic field that can take these weaker, extremely low frequency microwave fields. Say I walk into the mall, I walk into a phone store. Crazy. If you brought a good tri-field meter in there and you measured the magnetic field, people working there have no idea why they have insomnia, no idea why they have anxiety, depression. These are all these neurological disorders, autoimmune conditions, especially blood glucose problems like diabetes, EMFs, improper artificial lighting, blasting your retina all night long, every night, telling your body it's daytime when it's 10, 11, 12, midnight. These things are common sense when you kind of think about them clearly. They've actually found with the Magnetico that after just one night of sleeping on it, the benefits of this go on and on and on. When you increase the chemistry of the body, everything gets better. But just one night of sleeping on it, all these heavy metals are higher in the urine, especially lead, cadmium, arsenic, and mercury. This Dr. Dean Bonley says that using strong magnetism is perhaps the only way to get mercury out of the brain. And we are all full of mercury because I don't know about you, but growing up I drank countless amounts of colas, phosphoric acid, and aluminum cans. And those sodas were made in a base of tap water that contained fluoride. And fluoride helps aluminum cross the blood-brain barrier. And look up mercury high fructose corn syrup. Wow, you guys did a number on us. But we have solutions. So this is one of them. One night of sleeping on it, free radicals are reduced by 80% until 3 p.m. the next day. By sleeping on this, you're supplementing the weaker magnetic field. And what Dr. Dean Bonley says, it's not only like you're sleeping on these 3650 Gauss ceramic magnets. It's not just that. It's that if you're on the first floor, or if you're fairly close to the ground like I am here, these magnets pull up because it's such a strong field. This is a 10 Gauss model, so midline on my body, that's 10 Gauss, because it gets weaker exponentially, just like these EMFs from the phone. That's why you don't really hold a cell phone up to your head, especially while you're calling. What the Magnetico does is it's such a strong field. Remember, it's one big magnet of 2,000 magnets, and so it's pulling up the Earth's magnetic field through me. So it's not just like I'm getting magnetism. It's that it's actually enhancing the Earth's magnetic field to help me heal. Pretty profound. And for my anti-aging friends, I know a lot of people aren't really into living forever like I am, but if you are, it also extends lifespan about 30%. I think that's a conservative number. It's probably way more than that when you consider the implications of what it actually does. That is my review of the Magnetico sleep pad. If you want to learn more about it, search on YouTube, Dr. Dean Bonley, and it's spelled like Bonley together. And he has two videos. He has one called Magnetochelation, and then he has another one it's called like DDS Magnetism. And I think all in all, it's going to be about 3 hours. And watch those. I've watched them both multiple times, and he goes into multiple different conditions and brings up all the studies and what this does. There aren't many technologies or tools that we have available where we just put it there once and we never have to think about it again. This is like a luxury, and I'm super grateful to have access to this technology that I don't even have to think about. I just lie in bed and I'm getting those benefits. I don't have to, take a cold shower or anything like that, which I do anyway. If anyone's interested in purchasing it, I have a discount code. Either call them, you can actually talk to the doctor himself, or on their website you can put in the code in all caps, Divine Superconductor, and that will get you 15% off. And just remember, these things last forever. 6% loss in magnetism in 50 years. So that's pretty good. It's a good investment. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay supercharged.